everyone. Today our group will be talking about implicit gender bias in China. First of all, let's take a look at implicit bias and the definition of it. Implicit bias is also known as implicit social cognition and is referred to the attitude or stereotypes that affect our understanding, actions, and decisions in an unconscious manner. The implicit association we harbor in our subconscious cause us to have feeling and attitude about other people based on characteristics such as race, age, and appearance. Those associations develop over the course of the lifetime, beginning at a very early age through exposure to direct and indirect message. In addition to early life experience, the media and new programming are often cited origins of implicit association. So what about the implicit gender bias in China? As a traditional nation with a long history, gender inequality didn't improve until the century. Overall, according to women, are always thought to be an affiliation to men. There are many practices to this kind of gender bias. Take jazzing as an example. In the patriarchal society, in order to obtain a decent social status, women pay special attention to grooming themselves in sites such as appearance, clothing, and manners. Society has traditionally placed more demands on women's look. Society requires women to be gentle, beautiful appearance, and attention to jazz. Moreover, in the old days, under the shackles of fidelity, women were humble and weak. There's an old saying in China is, "Follow the man you're married, be he a hawk or dog, whatever the woman want to or not." In the old and feudal society, women didn't have independent personality and were not given due respect and care. Even in contemporary society, it seems more unacceptable for a woman to not get married, but men usually undertake less of such pressure.
Well, now let me introduce the implicit gender bias in school and family. The importance of making people realize implicit gender biases is that these biases have now influenced the lives of women and men in a negative way, specifically in school and family. To figure out what kind of bias students are received in school, we have created a questionnaire and invite several people to answer it. There are our questions. The first one is, do you think men are better at science and female are better at arts in their studies? And the second one is, as you know, the leaders of students' union and students' organizations on school usually male or female. And the third one is, do you think teachers will take more care of female students' emotions in school?
During the research, we also found a very serious problem, domestic violence, which is the perfect case of a man treating a woman as his possession. Domestic violence refers to physical and mental violations amongst family members, such as beating, binding, mutilating, restricting personal freedom, and frequent abuse and intimidation.
The situation of domestic violence is not optimistic as well. Along with the development of social economy, family violence presents new trends and characteristics. Cold violence, physiatric abuse, intellectual abuse become frequent keywords when talking about domestic violence. According to World Bank survey, 25% to 50% of the women around the world in the 20th century have been physically abused by someone close to them. According to a latest sample survey of the All China Women's Federation, 60% of women admitted that they are beaten by their spouses. 40% of men admitted that beating their spouses. As for the implicit gender bias in family, we also made a questionnaire refers to it and asked random people following questions. The first one is, will your father take part in the housework? And the other one is, have your parents ever unconsciously transmitted gender bias to you? To achieve the gender equality in family in China, the problem we still face is carried over from the past. In ancient China, as men's position in production gradually become important, men gradually gain the right to control their children, spouses, and property. Women had to leave their clan, marry into their husband's family, and become his property. The value of a woman becomes less and less. They're bent to gain education and work outside. What they could and must do is reproduce, raise their children, and serve their husband. Although the situation has improved in recent years due to the perfection of constitution, improvement of education, and more voices from women, most of the families still are not able to reach the gender equality. They still hold the opinion that breeding winning men and homemaking women. Well, after selecting, analyzing the data, and doing some researches, we find out that the major problems the students and the teachers have and the main stereotypes existing in school are that, first of all, people tend to label girls and boys with some stereotypes and characteristics, like girls are more sensitive and sometimes oversensitive, or boys have more capability to lead a team. Secondly, teachers and students will treat girls and boys differently according to those incorrect stereotypes, like they will take more care of female students because they think girls are more soft, and maybe more strict to boys because they think boys should be tough. Third, unfortunately, there are still some teachers and students assume that the characteristics in male students are more appealing.
Therefore, the invisible prejudice of gender is ubiquitous in people's life. This prejudice may be hidden in specific things or life details in school, workplace, even family. But because they are difficult to detect, a series of events caused by bias are often ignored and will not be dealt with. In fact, it is now more important than ever to look boldly at the reality of discrimination and prejudice in gender and to understand their harm to society. Therefore, the elimination of prejudice and the emphasis on gender equality have become the problems that people need to devote their energy and time to practice and explore. For a family, the elimination of gender bias is good for both men and women, that is between husband and wife. Take the husband and wife in the family as an example. When the idea of men should work outside to support the family, and women should do housework and take care of the children no longer exist in the family, women will try to share the housework work and take care of children while working. We can define this behavior as helping or cooperating. This data show that when men and women are working, they can help each other. Men become healthier when they share family responsibilities through sexual cooperation. That they smoke and drink less, take fewer drugs and get sick less often, but they go to the hospital on time for routine tests, and at the same time they need less medication and see doctors. Therefore, when husband and wife share family responsibilities, men will be happier and healthier. The same is true for women. They are more satisfied with their marriage. Research shows that they are more equal a couple is in a relationship that the happier they are. Introduce a concept that gender equality means gender opportunity and equal salary. Everyone should do what he is best at, regardless of what it is. For example, for me, my parents let me go to education because I'm their child. They will not let me receive education because I'm a girl. For everything in society, gender bias should also be found, corrected, and rejected. The consciousness of gender equality should be set up and instilled in everyone's mind. The society should be filled with the voice of gender equality.